In this video, I'll be creating some practical Christmas home decor that can be used year after year. Starting with this first one, we're going to create a beautiful candy cane using all Dollar Tree items. I'm going to be using this wire candy cane, and this is found at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to be covering the candy cane using this microfiber mop head from Dollar Tree as well. Okay, so I just want to start off by showing you how the mop is attached to the center and the string just goes and makes a loop. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut that loop. That way I have one long string. Now I'm going to be cutting several of these strings so I'm able to cover the candy cane with them. So I cut about half of the mop and I'm going to put that aside, but I just want to show you now the strings, and they're pretty long, so I'm going to be using about half of the mop like I said. Okay, so I started by adding a dab of glue to the wire and then attaching the mop rope to it, and then I came over my wire and I put some more hot glue. And then I added more hot glue on the opposite side of the wire and then just attached my rope. So basically I'm going to be following the same steps, going back and forth over the wire until I cover my candy cane. Because this was going to take a while for me to cover the whole entire candy cane, I'm not going to take you through it completely, but you get the picture. Just go back and forth, and then every time that I run out of a string or a rope, I just grab another one and start from there. Okay, 1,000 hours later, I'm done. No, I'm kidding, but it did take a while for me to cover the whole candy cane, and this is how it turned out. Now I just want to flip it around to the back side, and I just want to show you how I hot glued all the loose ends and just made it look nice and clean. And now I'm going to create a bow with this Dollar Tree red ribbon. This is a beautiful ribbon. I think that it looks very high-end, something that you would find at Hobby Lobby. Okay, so now I'm going to be using my Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to be placing a pipe cleaner between the two sticks, and then I'll be placing my ribbon over it and then just create my bow. This bow maker is something that I DIY'd. If you're interested as to how I created this tool, I'll go ahead and link that video down below if you're interested. Next, I'm going to tie my bow to my candy cane, and I'm going to use the pipe cleaners to tie it on the back side. And now I'm just going to shorten the tails just a little bit. I'm also going to add this clip poinsettia, and this is from Dollar Tree. These are new, and they have them in this color and a cream color and a burgundy color, I believe. But I'm going to be using this silver one, and I'm going to remove that little clip from the back side, and then I'm just going to twist the tail in and then hot glue it there to the center of my bow. And then lastly, I'm going to be using some of these berries, and all I'm going to do is just clip off a few of the berry stems and then attach them around my bow. And for those of you that love the boho style, I will be creating a boho Christmas decor. For this DIY, I'm going to be using this round small mirror from Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to be using the remainder of the microfiber mop. The first thing that I'm going to do is remove the backing and the attached mirror. from this round wall decor. I'm going to start off by spray painting my ring with this spray paint from Cordless, and this is in the color white. Okay, so the paint is dry now for my ring, and now I'm ready to start creating a macrame boho wall decor. So let me see if I can explain this. Okay, the first thing that you're going to do is have that string, that long string, as I'm showing you right there, and you're going to have a loop and one end, and then the other two ends are going to be loose. Now you're going to take that loop and bring it over the ring, and then the other two are going to go under, and then you just bring it out. And then you're just going to fix it and then just pull on the two ropes, and that'll tighten it and it'll create somewhat of a knot. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more time, and this time I'm going to go in slow motion. Okay, so I'm going to be adding several of these strands, and then I'll be right back. I ended up adding 12 strings. Now what I'm going to do is cut them in an angle, and that way it has a V shape. And I'll be doing the same thing to the opposite side. And this is how it turned out, and I did my best to try to make that V shape. Next, I'm going to be adding these bells from Dollar Tree, and I just wanted to give it a little bit of color, but also just because it is a Christmas wall decor. But once Christmas is over, I'll be able to use this as an everyday wall decor once I remove the bell. I'll be hanging the bell with this elastic silver ribbon, and all I'm going to do is just pass it through the loop of the bell and then hang it in the center of the ring. And I also made a little bow with that same ribbon, and I hot glued it there on top of the bell.
Next up, a soap and lotion dispenser set.
Okay, so I'm going to start by creating the riser, and I'm going to be using this Dollar Tree tray. Now I'm going to be painting it with this Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Paint, and I'm going to let it dry and then give it another coat. I did notice that it had some kind of a glossy finish, so the paint wasn't adhering as well in certain areas. I'm also going to paint the underside walls just because it is going to be a riser and you'll be able to see that side, and so I need for it to look white as well. I also gave this 2 coats of paint once it was dry. I'm going to be using these candle holders also, and these are from Dollar Tree, but I'm going to go spray paint them with the white spray paint because they do have a little bit of a cream color. It's not a bright white, so they can match my tray. Okay, so the paint is dry on my candle holders and also my tray, so now it's time to assemble it together. And all I'm going to do is flip my tray to the back side, and then I'm going to hot glue both of these candle holders just like this. But first I'm just going to mark them off where I need to place them. Now for this I am going to use the hot glue because I don't want them to be permanently there. I probably will use these candle holders for another DIY. So if you decide to do this project and you want these to be permanent, then you do need to use some type of super glue or E6000. And this is how it turned out, and now I'm going to start working on my dispensers. Now for the dispensers, I'm going to be using these two Dollar Tree ones, and they are in a white ceramic finish. And I'll be using these two Dollar Tree ornaments to decorate them. So I'm going to start off by disassembling the ornaments, and I'm going to take the ring off, and then I'll also take the little metal Christmas tree off, and also the greenery and the berries. Next, I'm going to pull off the fabric off the cardboard, and I'm just going to slowly just pull it. I don't want to tear the fabric, so I'm being very gentle. And then I'm going to go back and remove the remainder of the cardboard that stayed stuck on the fabric. I'm going to be placing the fabric over the dispenser this way, but first I'm going to remove all that glue that it has on the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I'm going to fold it in half and then just trim all the edging off. And I'll be using some Mod Podge to glue the fabric onto my dispenser. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other dispenser, and I'm going to let the Mod Podge dry on both of them. Okay, so now I have my little deer here, and I'm going to add some hot glue on the back side, and then I'm going to place it over the center of the circle on my fabric. And then I'm going to cut some of those pine needles from that pine stem because they were too long. And then I'm going to cut off the metal stem using my wire cutters. And then I'm going to hot glue it over the deer's antlers. And then lastly, I'm going to add some berries to the pine stem. And this is how it turned out. And now I'm going to do the other dispenser with the Christmas tree. For the candle holder, I'm going to be using this really pretty candle holder from Dollar Tree that says Joy. I think that these are absolutely beautiful. And all I'm going to do to this jar or candle holder is just add some twine around the top of the mouth. And then I'm also going to add some of these beads from this Dollar Tree wall decor. And then I'm also going to use one of these disco ball Christmas ornaments and then just hang it off to one side. And now my dispenser and riser set is complete, and I think they came out so beautiful. These would look so nice in a guest bathroom or your own bathroom, but they're just so beautiful for the Christmas season.
Next up, I'll be creating this reindeer using all Dollar Tree items.
For the reindeer, I'm going to be using this pattern that I created, and I'm going to try to explain to you as best as I can as how I drew this out. So I used this Dollar Tree cylinder gift box as a guide because I felt that it was kind of like a body of a deer somewhat. And so I placed it over a piece of paper, and then I followed alongside the belly of what would be the deer, and then I went around what would be the back end, and then I also followed the top around the cylinder as that would be the spine of the deer. And now for the head, so from the back side of the spine I came up forming the back of the head, and then I came down creating the head of the deer, and then back up and then in an angle sideways, and that's the neck. I hope that makes sense. I'll also be using this fleece baby blanket to make the body of the reindeer. So I'll be folding the blanket in half. That way I have two pieces once I cut out the pattern. So I'm gonna lay down my baby blanket, fold it in half, and then I'm gonna place my reindeer pattern over it, and I'm gonna pin it down, and then I'll cut it. Next, I'm going to go all around the edge and hot glue the pieces together. I am going to do sections at a time, and then down at the bottom where the belly's at, I'm going to leave two openings so that I'm able to stuff it with the cotton and also put my legs in there. And here's one small opening, and then here's the other bigger one, and this one I'm going to use it to turn it inside out and also to stuff it with some cotton. Okay, so now I'm ready to stuff my deer, and I'll be using some of this cotton from an old pillow. Now for the legs, I'm going to use these pencils from Dollar Tree, and I'll be using 4 of them. With the same baby blanket, I've cut some strips that'll be wide enough to cover my pencils. And all I'm going to do is just add some glue in the center of the fabric, then place the pencil there in the center, and then cover it with the fabric. And I'll just be repeating the same steps until the pencil is completely covered with the fabric. And I'll be doing that to the rest of the pencils. Next, I'm going to cut off the excess blanket from each end of the pencil. Okay, so I'm done covering all the pencils, and now what I'm going to do is form the legs. So what I'm going to do is grab the 2 pencils and hot glue the top ends and form an A shape. And for extra reinforcement, I'm also going to add some masking tape. Before I put in the legs, I am going to close off that bigger hole just so that the cotton doesn't come out. But I will leave an opening big enough so that I can put in the legs. Okay, so I'm ready to put in the legs, and I'm going to put some hot glue at the end of the legs, and then I'm just going to stuff it inside the deer, and it will hold because of the cotton. So I'm just going to push it in there and hold it for a while until the glue takes hold. And I did the same thing now to the backside leg. Next, I'm going to add the little tail to the deer, and I'm going to be using one of these mini pine cones for that. Next, I'm going to put a dab of hot glue on the pine cone and then place it on the backside of the deer. Now for the antlers, I'm going to be using these willow branches. Next, I'm going to cut a small slit up at the top of the head so I can place the branch in there. So I'm just going to add some hot glue to the branch and then insert it into the deer's head. And I'll just repeat the same steps for the other side. I created a second one using a Dollar Tree scarf. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and also share. I'd really appreciate it because it does help my channel. And until my next video, I'll see you again. Bye and God bless.